Today I'm going to show you how to change the fan clutch on your W126 V8. So on the front of your engine, you'll see the cooling fan. In this case, you can tell this one's bad simply because it doesn't rotate on the clutch anymore, it's locked on. You never want to drive with the fan clutch that's locked on because it will overspeed and the fan blades can actually fly off and take out your radiator, your hood, and all kinds of other good stuff in here. It's a pretty simple thing to replace. You've got 4 nuts that are located on it. You can see the 4 10mm bolts located on the fan right here on the water pump pulley. There's no need to take the belts off or anything else. You can get to it easily enough with everything in situ, which makes this a really quick and easy job. So, first things first, let's pop it off. I'm just going to break them all loose first so that I can just thread them all off when I need to. So to hold my water pump pulley from spinning, all I'm doing with one hand here is applying a little bit of pressure to the top of the belts. Keeps it from spinning in place, except for when I want it to. Like now, move the bolt to the top, press down on the belts, and a little crank and off she comes. If yours are on tighter than this and you're having trouble taking them off, what some people will do is they will take a screwdriver and wedge it between the fan and one of the bolts and just hold it like that. However, mine aren't on all that tight, which is a little bit worrying, but shouldn't be too big an issue. Now they're all broken loose, we'll just whip them all out. Here's a slightly better view of the bolts I'm removing. Again, you can see the access is pretty freaking easy. It's the nice thing about these old 126 Mercedes, they're extremely serviceable. No, just the one on the bottom. You want to make sure that your fan clutch doesn't fall off when you take it out and dent the radiator at all, if you can help it. So now that it's off the hub, I'm just going to looks like we might need to take the shroud off to get the fan out. It's easy enough, it's just held in by these 2 plastic clips here. 1. 2. See if that helped at all. No, because the fan has to come off first. Okay, now we'll just wedge it out then. There it is. So now that we have it off, we'll pop into my workshop and we'll swap the fan clutch mechanism out itself. The fan clutch itself is actually the center portion. So you'll see that the new fan clutch that I have here is actually just the center hub part of the fan. So the blades themselves we reuse. So it's just held in by these 4 10mm bolts around the exterior here that will whip out. Just throw a wrench on here and break them all loose, nice and easy. bolts out. And now this should come off of the hub. It might need a little tap from a mallet just to free it up. Especially if it's been on there a while. There we go. So you see you got the metal fan assembly loose from the old locked up fan clutch. So, new fan clutch. You can see it's got a little bimetallic spring on the front to engage and disengage. I wonder if the clip from the old one will fit the new one. Doesn't look like it. It must be a slightly different diameter. Oh well. Not too concerned. So I'll just put this one lightly in the old vise, just enough to hold it in place so it doesn't wobble around on us. Have a look at the fan here. I may take a wire brush here just a little bit to take some of the dirt off, just to clean it up and make sure that it sits on here nice and flat. Alright, quick wire brush done. It wasn't all that dirty. So now we just line it on up. So this falls into the category of things that I don't want ever coming apart, since this rotates at fairly high speed on the engine. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of blue Loctite to all the threads on these bolts when I put them back in. You don't need much. That's really more than you need, but just enough to coat the bottom section of threads. So now we'll just snug all these down. Remember the rule of thumb, start them all before you tighten any. Just so that it's on there nice and evenly. Again, this rotates at engine speed, so you want it to be on there nice and straight. Now we'll just go around and snug it up. They're only 10, so no need to go crazy on them. Just snug. There we go. New fan clutch installed on the fan. Let's go throw it back in the car. So, back at the car. Now we're just going to finesse this in, as it were. Honestly, I think getting this down in here is probably the hardest part of the job. Yeah, it is necessary to have the fan shroud loose. I popped it back in thinking I didn't really need it out, but it's just, I have it just up a little bit so you can get it down in there, get the fan back down in there. There we go. Back over the hub. Just like so. So I am going to put a little bit of Loctite on these bolts as well. I had a bad experience once on a old Ford truck of mine. The fan clutch bolts worked their way out. Resulted in a bit of a walk. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've just threaded the bottom bolt in so that I can put the fan clutch on it. Just sit it on there. Makes it a little bit easier. I have to hold it in place as I thread the other ones back in. Now, if you don't want to use Loctite on these, it's understandable if you fear that you might be taking them out again soon, or don't want to use it at all. I would at the very minimum suggest anti-seize on them. Same with the ones holding the fan clutch to the fan blades. A little bit of anti-seize would probably be a good idea. Like I said, in my case, I don't want any chance of this thing coming off. Sorry for blocking your view there, but there's not really a better way to do this. So there you go, we got them all lined up there. So now we're just going to run them all snug before we tighten any of them. The shaft on the new one's a little bit bigger. I have to use the open-ended end here. Unfortunate, but again, it's still not that bad a job. There we go. A little bit of a better view for you as I do this top one up. The bottom one's always a little bit of a pain to get to. So what I'm going to do here to access that bottom bolt is just rotate on the power steering pump a little bit here, far over the engine, which isn't really the ideal spot to do it. You really should be doing it on the crank pulley at the bottom, not the power steering pump. Just need a little bit more just to access that bottom bolt. Get my wrench on and give it a little snug. There we go. Go around all of them now and give them each a little bit. Make sure they're all on there good. Okay, now we'll just pop our radiator fan shroud clips back in. Just make sure that's on there good. Make sure that it doesn't interfere at all. I should use this a little bit. What's it interfering with? Bottom of the shroud. The shroud's sitting a little bit too high. I'm just going to adjust that down a bit. There we go. Sitting in the bottom there. Just wasn't pushed down quite far enough. Just rotate it through again. Make sure it's nice and clear. There we go. And that's all there is to replacing the fan shroud on your V8 W126 Mercedes. So it should be the same process on all of them, being the 380, the 420, and the 560, both SE and SEL models. As I said at the beginning, if you have the 300 SE or SEL, which is the straight 6, the process is basically the same. I do have a video of myself replacing the fan clutch assembly on the M103 engine in a W124 wagon. The process on that is exactly the same in the 300 SE, it's the same engine. Feel free to take a look at that if you need a little more advice, as it's ever so slightly different, but as you can see, this is a pretty easy job. Anybody can really do this, and it shouldn't take you more than really an hour if you're a complete novice to working with tools and everything, and it totally fights you on the way out. This is a 1 hour job. So there you go. If this video helped you out, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy your classic Mercedes motoring.